Good morning, welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. We had only one sad recommendation this week and the game was described as being different, so please amaze me. We have got Crazio Protoss starting out with a rather defensive... Oh right, that's not a cannon rush anymore, that's just a forge fast, not so fast gateway. Might be expecting some kind of a Zergling thing, and the Zergling thing's actually there, but the Zergling thing is still standing rather still, while a natural expansion is hatching. So, without further ado, we've got Crazio sort of playing standard with the cannon wall at a strange position. Could be here, because then you could take this natural too. And Zerg is expanding all over the place, and as you can see, we've got a lot of Zerg. We've got 11 drones, and I think you can power the Zerg production of three hatcheries with 11 drones. Oh god, here come the Zerglings. So the Zealots, they all have to run a bit, because that's quite a lot of Zerglings, and more appear to be on the way. So that's good. The problem for the Lingberry is that you can see it's now supply blocked, so the Zergling thing will sort of stall, but there is a lot of Zerglings out already, and Crazio's natural looks to be under heavy attack. But of course there are 3 cannons, which is good. Let's see how many Zerglings it takes to kill 3 cannons. Oh, that's actually going pretty well. And that's the penultimate cannon, and now the workers are coming out to help. And that means that the last cannon can sort of do... Oh, and a Dark Temper in the nick of time. That's very good. Okay, so, yes, the Corsairs have things better under control. And the Lingberry is very much supply blocked. Crazio's got 3 Corsairs. That's quite a lot. And the Overlords... Oh, here is a pocket of Overlords still, and... more Corsairs are coming, and you can see the Lingberry is now actually making, but it's now very much supply blocked. The Zealots, they sort of die a lot. Now the cannons get re-erected, and the Dark Templar, they can't really decide where they want to strike. So that's unfortunate, especially as there are more Zerglings in. Oh, the movement of the Zerglings is rather impeded, and that's going to cost a lot of Zergling blood, but you never know. And this one cannon is actually doing pretty well. Now what's Crazio building? It's building cannons and pylons. It's got 1k in the bank. Could build some units actually. And there is a pair of Dark Templars out here doing God knows what. And the Corsairs are still killing Overlords for all they're worth. And this Dark Templar is actually trying to run from the Zerglings. Oh no, and now it's escaping. So the Dark Templar move, oh, and the Zerglings are in the main base, but there is a rather more defensive cannon at the back. That's good. Crazio, though, is going to build, I don't know what, cannons. So it's rebuilding the cannons, actually, and nothing much else. Still got almost 1k in the bank. And with, I believe, 3 Corsairs, it's going to take a while to kill all the Overlords at all the expansions, but... I don't really know where they are. They're just checking every expansion. And the Lingberry has got the devil of a job to keeping its Overlords alive. But, oh, and this is completely bogus. Crazio now making a Zealot, which is good. Hasn't got all that much gas for some reason, because all the probes are messed up. And this one cannon is actually doing pretty good. This Zealot is coming in to help. Hasn't got any upgrades. Oh dear. Well, yes, it's got leg speed, but that's about it. Oh, and more Zerglings are coming. So while the Corsairs are doing away with all the Overlords, there's still 3 Corsairs, and there are Zerglings being streamed in. So this is a bit of a bogus matchup. This cannon dies as well, but there are 2 cannons on top now. The thing is that Crazio can't really get to mining, and if it does, it's... oh dear, that's a lot of Zerglings. Where are the Corsairs? There's still this one Dark Templar over here, and one over there. Crazio sitting behind a couple of cannons, and it's not really building anything. The occasional probe, but a pylon. Now all the cannons are under attack. The workers do shield it, and the worker knows Crazio are still okay, but it's pretty wild, this game. Now the Corsairs are still flopping about, but they are not seeing these Overlords over here. And these Dark Templar, Crazio will have some work to do in the Dark Templar department and in the actual build stuff department, because this is complete rubbish. And, oh, finally building a carrier. That might help against this execution. Any upgrades? Yes, the interceptor upgrade is coming. And now we've got 2 cannons and a carrier to help defend against the Zerglings. But still, these 2 Overlords have not been found. Oh, now there are 3 Overlords. They have been found. And they all get killed simultaneously. That's pretty good for Crazio. And now we have got this carrier and a natural, which is going to fall because the Dark Templar are still over here. And now, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, this game is completely off the hook. But where is that carrier going? Oh, the carrier's here at home. Oh, and we've got one more Dark Templar, I believe. Where is it going? Who can tell? It's patrolling the entrance to the natural, as does the carrier. Will we have one more carrier, please? Oh, we'll have a Nexus and another StarCAIT. So why build 3 StarCAIT if you are going to build 1 carrier? So that's a valid question. And now delivery is supply blocked and mined out, so that didn't really work as well as planned, and the drones are not being transferred, so that's good, I believe. Oh, the carrier is now protecting the 3rd. Worker transfers, oh, and more carriers on the way. So I must assume that once the carrier count, here we go, gets increased, Crazio will lead the charge and do away with the enemy. That was, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, that was quite an interesting game, really. But let me call the GG and hop into the next game, because a lot of bots got updated, and as my good fortune would have it, it's not the top bots which are being updated, so that's good. So I can talk about the mid-tier bots for a change. I think that's very nice. Purple Swarm going up with the scouting drone, meeting the scouting SCV, and Willy T is going for depot barracks. And of course, oh, the scouting drone kills the constructing SCV. Oh, and perhaps another one. That's quite annoying. And will it get a 3rd, or will the Marine come out to help? Yes, it will. So 2 barracks now for Willy T, and Purple Swarm has got 2 Overlords and a very quick lair. That's good to see. Hope to see some Spire play, some Mutas, because Muta play is getting better and better, and Willy T might just have the perfect composition for that, being mostly a bio player. So, oh no, that's not going to be a Spire, or is it? In any event, we're going to have some Hydras, and the worker count is quite okay. Slight transfer might do Purple Swarm well, and now we have got something of a timing push coming up, looks like. A couple of fire bats, 2-3 medics, plenty of Marines, oh, and some workers coming as well, so that's going to be quite interesting. We have got no upgrades. Oh dear, I must slow down a bit, because we've got 1 Muta. No, we've got more. But this is quite an interesting matchup, because Zerg has got quite a ragtag kind of an army. And there is a lot of firepower in that push. Of course, you can hear the stims going off, and it looks like Purple Swarm, oh, this Muta is very brave. 3rd base right over here, good choice, and I think that Willy T is sitting back for a spot, not really enforcing this, reinforcing this push as well as it could. The fire bats though are still alive, and they should kill the sunken, because oh, the Marines in the back will do that. And now the fire bats are all free to kill drones, and they rather like that. Drones from the main coming off the line, but that's not good enough. Willy T appears to be taking out Purple Swarm with relative ease. Purple Swarm going for Hydras and Mutas at the same time, and that is a small error which it cannot get away with. No money for drones over here, so no rescue, and as there are only 3 Mutas, I think that this is going to be quite over. Willy T, meanwhile, sitting back, just making a couple of units, making a lot of upgrades, and that I'd say is about the game. Now, will they find the other base? Oh, they find all the overlords first. Pretty good pathing. That's that. And now they're all going to scatter. Oh, we've got it. Oh, wait. Purple Swarm actually did restart. That's pretty good. What's it doing though? It's got money. Should make some drones. But here comes the invincible army of Willy T, and it's now all converging. I like that. Upon the poor Atlas Zerg. Taking their sweet time, but that's the GG. And a nice timing attack. So another ZVT. It's Mad Mix versus Nightcat, and I always like that. Nightcat, of course, started out as a big game hunter spot, but has developed considerably since. And Mad Mix used to be a random bot, which got split up into 3 separate races. So this is the Zerg bit of it. It's going for a lot of Zerglings, and by the looks of it, Nightcat is doing something very slow and is about to lose a couple of workers. Worker defense might be a little bit better. The workers are only fighting one at a time, and this Marine wants to get into the bunker, but by that time I fear that the entire mineral line as well as the command center will be dead. More Zerglings are coming up. And that was a pretty aggressive 4-pool by Mad Mix, or at least a 5-pool. And a 5-pool I think is always better, because you got this one bit of extra economy. And yeah, 1 Marine in a bunker and a lot of enemy zones. Okay, so that's the GG. 1 for Terran, 1 for Zerg. Next game up is Banana Brain versus B-Reaver, and that always used to be pretty good of a game. But Banana Brain has returned to updating his bot, and that is certainly going to be interesting. Let's see what kind of play we'll see from both players. We've got 1 gate. Cool. And here we've got a 2 gate and no core, so I think B-Reaver is having the aggressive edge. Have we got range? No. And now with a goon, I think that Banana Brain is sort of okay. And going for Templar Tech as well, that's quite ballsy. B-Reaver's sort of on top of things with a lot of cannons and some zealots on the high ground. Now the zealots moving down, catching up with the scouting probe, and Banana now going to lead the charge with a couple of DTs and an expansion. So, ooh, B-Reaver going for some kind of Robotech. Might either be Observer, in any event Observer, and perhaps Reavers as well. That's a lot of stuff to pull off with 1 base, while Banana Brain is just sitting back, enjoying the advantage it's got, and has got a natural now, but same will be said for B-Reaver soon too. B-Reaver moving out, but I don't really think it's got the right composition, but now with the Observer overhead it has, and now it's waiting for an Observer of Banana Brains. And even though there is an Observer, I think the army of B-Reavers is wise to flee, because that's a lot of DPS in these 2 Dark Templar. There is a Reaver now for B-Reaver, and that is its namesake unit, so should be quite okay. Now moving out again with a slow Reaver. Might want to build a shuttle for that. Oh, here comes another one. That's a lot of firepower. 3rd base starters for Banana Brain. And as far as PvP goes, I think we are in for a sweet game. And Banana Brain going for Reaver Tech as well, and reinforcing the natural with a couple of cannons. And that seems to be the standard, so level of play of both these bots is quite high. And the question is, when or how will they engage? And I think that Banana Brain is going to press the issue. But there is a Reaver in reserve, 1 coming up, and you can see that it's very hard for Banana Brain to actually sustain the damage those Reavers are dealing. And I still miss a unit portrait where I can see, or at least in an overview, a counter of how many kills these units have. And now B-Reaver is going for a kill on the 3rd, and I think it's a good decision, especially as Banana Brain will have to ferry units up the ramp. Now it's retreating. Oh, and there is a shuttle now, so that's very good. We've got at least 1 Reaver in the shuttle. And, oh, that shuttle should really rather be moving, because if not, it will... Oh, and the Reaver just gets out in the last minute, but it's going to flee as well, and decision-wise, that's not really the best decision that the Reaver could have made, losing a shuttle and 2 Reavers for a little bit of shield damage to 1 goon. And now the tables are turned. Banana Brain with a superior army. Oh, there are 2 cannons, of course, at the defense of the Reavers. But Banana Brain is going to macro like a master and is going for High Templars as well. The Reaver is doing the same and again going for this base, but then again Banana Brain cutting it off and mopping up some units. So again you can see Banana Brain getting ahead in the game, and a 3rd base of... Oh, is there Storm yet for Reaver? No, it's not yet done. Banana Brain Storm is, but Reaver's isn't. And now they're going to kill this Nexus. I think that's a good decision. And the entire army of Banana Brain is all in one spot, and that's very unfortunate. And you can see these 2 cannons preventing a run-in of this 1 Zealot. And that, of course, will give you considerable peace of mind. Now, Reaver has got a 3rd base of its own. Worker transfer on the way. And now trying to kill this expansion, but with the cannons buying a little bit of time for units to stream in from the top. These probes, though, are somehow cluttering up, somehow are visibly cluttering up the ramp. But Banana Brain got... Oh, that is a nice bit of shield damage done to the goons of Banana Brain. But if you do only shield damage, you've got to follow it up with real kills. That means more storms or a committed ground attack, or air attack might be nice as well. And now Banana Brain has got double the army supply. Oh, and these storms are pretty good. Oh, look at that. And it will take a while to get up the ramp with... Oh, we've got Archon now too. That means a lot of hit points. And these goons are quite juicy already from the storms landed on them. And now the goon will die. But there are Reavers with... with air support, namely an Observer and an Arbiter. That's pretty good. And the problem for Reaver is manifest in that it has got no economy left. This base is in complete shambles, and although Banana Brain hasn't got the greatest army, it is pushing back Reaver at every stage of the map right now. So the Arbiter is there, that's very good. Oh, and stasising some units right in the path of its approach, or of the army approach. And that is, well, suboptimal to say the least, and still it's going for a frontal attack. So with Arbiters, you've always got the potential of doing a recall, and if it's only 10 Zealots, you can just recall them over here, do a lot of damage, and take some units from defending your main push. Now, this game is over. Banana Brain shaping up to be a veritable monster. Look at that, all the upgrades, lots of tech. And one can only wait for fancy stuff like Arbiter recalls or very good Reaver drops, things like that. But all in all, I'm not really disappointed with the progress Banana Brain's making. Moving up the ramp could be a little bit better, but again, that's hard for anyone. But I'm just going to call the GG as, well, what can you do? So I thought, well, let's show Insanity Bot, which just got updated. And the enemy's got the Protoss card this game. Its map makes Protoss playing as teal in the top base. Going for some kind of a sneaky thing over here. That's strange, might be a wall, but then again in an odd spot. And Insanity is going for a barracks and a depot and another barracks. So some quite aggressive play, which will not work because there are cannons out already. So the cannons sort of protect this Nexus from Lings. Then again, these Marines might go around the back and kill the Nexus. And certainly curb any enthusiastic expansion over here. But now more cannons coming up. I think that Mad Mix is quite safe, but Insanity is already starting the natural as well, and is going to make some more advanced units. And Mad Mix persists in... Oh dear, that's... They just run from the goon. Oh, they can sort of take the goons with large numbers. Stim is prepping. Should be medics though. Where are the medics? No medics yet, just units. And you can see the problem that these units are kind of damaged. And oh, with a siege tank backup, that must be nice. Oh, nice building placement by Madmix, just mining out these neutral minerals and going for a stretch of buildable land over here, and of course access to the mineral only, which as a Protoss is quite okay because then you can make more zealots. However, Insanity Bot forgot to make any army. It's building a lot of upgrades and tech, but army-wise, not so much. Natural's gone, and with the enemy on 3 bases, I think that's a foregone conclusion that Madmix is going to power through Insanity Bot. I think it's a considerable upgrade since the last installment, but a little bit of work to build orders could do wonders. Oh, we've got DTs as well, and this is the game, as they say. So I had another game, and I took another adversary. I took Fifu Legend, playing as Protoss. So again, a TVP for Insanity Bot. Insanity starting out with a barracks, and this time a quick command center and a bunker in a pretty good position. So I think I like this build order a little bit better. Oh, and that's playing it very safe, and that was needed because there is a large zealot push coming, but with so many marines it just gets absorbed, and the remaining zealots, they tuck tail and head back home. But then again, we've got more zealots coming up. Have we got any weapons upgrades? No, nothing from neither player. Oh, +1 for Terran starting. And now with the natural operational and the 3rd mining gas. Oh, and now with medics, I think I say that's much better. Then again, you should just fight if you've got only a handful of zealots and you've got marines, medics and stim. And this is, as far as Terran goes, it's pretty decent, because stim marines with medics can do a lot of damage, and now Fifu hasn't got an army to speak of, or just 2 armies. Oh, there is 2 goons are there. And if these marines haven't got a medic complement, that's quite interesting, because if they stim, they'll stim themselves to death, and they will only take 1 goon ball to finish them off. So, meanwhile, the macro for Insanity Bot is coming along quite nicely. Building placement could be a little bit better, but of course I like to see ghosts, and it's a pity we are not going to see what's going to happen with the ghosts. Will we have ghosts? Doesn't look like it, because this stimmed army is just mopping up the Protoss base. Oh, here come the ghosts. That's quite interesting. We've got ghosts. No upgrades. Have we got any silos? No, it's just comsats. But congratulations, Insanity Bot. That second game was considerably better. And now hop into the next game. It's Lucas Moravec versus StarCrafter, and I've got a bit of an announcement to make for next week's broadcast, which I shall do and slow down the game a little bit. And well, we have asked Sonko of the Undermine podcast to help us out in producing videos. We were very impressed with the amount of user, or I must say coder involvement he got going for his podcast, and well, we thought that would be a great addition to the videos that we make, because I have I think made about 200 videos, which consist of me rambling along on my own, and with Sonko and his beautiful Undermined cast. He'll have all kinds of authors over, Marion DeVecker's there, Micro, and Dan Gann, Dave Church are all on there, and I think they can tell you much more about Brute War AI than I can. And we are going to test it, and we have been doing a lot of work, but next week it will all be about Sonko and his guests in the studio, just doing what I do, but then a lot better and with a lot more insights, because I think that although I have been doing this for a long time, I don't know the first thing about AI, and that's all fine and dandy, but as this is a broadcast for Brute War AI, I think that it's a very good thing that we'll get some more insights. And Sonko, of course, has been working very hard of getting his podcast just right, and I think I really like that. And the format combining to show you some replays while giving you some insights in the game and into the process of coding, I think it's much more valuable than just me sitting here and doing stuff, talking to myself or to you all. So next week it will be Sonko, and for a start we'll be alternating broadcasts. So the one week you'll have me, and the other one you'll have Sonko, and we'll see how many views we each get. But no, in all seriousness, I think that it's very good that Sonko will be joining us. So Sonko, very much welcome to the show. Enjoy yourself, and I'll be watching next week's broadcast for sure, because I'm very interested by your podcast, and I'd also like to see something from the bots themselves. So that's I think, and you can see here that Lucas Moravec is with relative ease and 3 bases cleaning up StarCrusher. Now StarCrusher is not the strongest opponent, but I think this is another upgrade of Lucas, and Lucas is getting stronger. And I have got, if I'm not very much mistaken, I have got another replay of Lucas. So while I was announcing that Sonko will be joining us as in the casting team of this beautiful tournament for the weekly broadcasts, I sort of missed Lucas's victory over StarCrusher, and I think I'll call it now another base. So Lucas in the macro department doing very well. Upgrades coming along quite nicely, Storm's there as well, so that's very neatly done. And let's try a little bit stronger opponent now. We've got Lucas Moravec versus Eric Hammer, and Eric Hammer we haven't seen an update from him for a long time, but that does not mean it's a weak bot. It's still pretty strong, and it's only the top bots which easily handle Eric Hammer, and he can still upset some of them. So let's see how it will fare this game. We've got a quick Zealot coming up, but it's immediately chased off by a large number of 6 Zerglings. More Zealots are coming though, and more Zerglings are coming as well. So I don't know what these two are doing, but I think that Eric Hammer has got things sort of under control. Oh, that's a bit too many drones, and they should be mining and producing Zerglings. Now though, Lucas is going for more Zealots, and I think that is a good strategy. And Eric Hammer will have to balance workers and Zerglings very carefully. That said, there is... Oh, you might have had this Zealot for free, but then again these Zerglings will be healing up rapidly too. The problem is that Lucas can produce Zealots 3 at a time, and is still doing so, even while backing it up with some investment in technology. I think that's very wise. You should plant down a Sunken and make Zerglings for all you're worth. And I think that the Zergling bit is okay, but the Sunken could really have helped here to stem the tide of these Zealots. And Lucas has got 23 workers, and Eric Hammer's only got 10. So Eric Hammer, as a Zerg, is very hard to balance Zerglings and economy, but you cannot really get away with only Zerglings, as Protoss appears to be doing just that. It's going for an expansion now though, so small hiatus in unit production, and Eric Hammer still has got 10 workers, is still building Zerglings, so the Zergling numbers are getting wildly out of control. They haven't got a single upgrade, but you can see these Protoss Zealots just simply being overrun by the sheer number of Zealots, Zerglings that Eric Hammer is producing. And now we'll get a couple of goons, perhaps they will help, and I think this is a wise decision, and that's good about Eric Hammer. It's not only good in the build order, but in the micro and the macro, but its decision making is quite respectable. And now the probes are coming off the line, so this eco advantage, and this is not the right time to be building Sunkens, but now you can see that Eric Hammer is actually making a hell of a lot of Sunkens. That's curious, while the Zergling armies are already triumphant. And just one Zealot with a sliver of life running for it, and it goes away. So Eric Hammer building a lot of Sunkens a little bit too late, but then still build them. So can only praise that for build order wise goings on. And what have we got? We have got one more game, Banana Brain, and I thought, well, first of all, versus Bereaver, its arch enemy, but it has been winning a lot of games versus Bereaver, so I thought, well, why not pit it against TSU Random, which can be pretty good. So now, that is going to be a Forge Fast Expand or a Gate Fast Expand, something like that. And TSMU is going to do something ridiculous. That looks like TSMU. Hatch in the middle of the map, followed up by a large number of Zerglings. Banana Brain will have 2 Zealots and a Nexus, so should be okay versus 6 Zerglings, but then again more Zerglings will be on the way, and TSMU is going to pounce. And like you saw Eric Hammond do earlier, not going for the kill, but going for shutting down the natural. I think that's very wise. Might have killed this base too, but this Star Gateway thingy, and now it's killing all the workers. So Banana Rain, completely misreading this, and of course, as far as proxy hatches go, this is a pretty good one. And TSMU is smuggling in workers, and that's the hallmark of a very good Zerg. Knowing when to pounce, what units to pounce with, and what kind of buildings to kill. And then still, if you run the attack, keep building technology, keep building workers. That's a very fine balance, and it's paying off in this game versus Banana Brain. TSMU Random taking the game. Congratulations. Next game up, it's going to be Willy T versus Flash. Willy T got an upgrade, and we all know what Flash is going to do. If it were the human player, it would probably never do this build order, but I can sort of tell what's going to come, and that is a lot of Zealots, and they are going to attack. Here goes the first one, and it's going after the bunker. I think that's a good decision. Now, that's some very nice defense, but the Marine, bloody hell, Marines get into the bunker. And we've got 2 Marines. The command center is not safe. Oh, and they're getting out of the bunker again. And they are going to kill, and I think that... Oh, they are so brave and so stupid. But now Willy T has got 1-2 barracks. That should be enough. And if it can keep its mineral income... Why are they not in the bunker? It's beyond me. Now Flash is going for more Zealots. And now we'll make, I think, a natural. Yes, there it goes. And the Marines of Willy T are not the most well micro, but they are getting the job done with that bunker, and it only shows you how good one defensive bunker or one sunken or a couple of sunkens, a little bit of static defense can help out so much, and that will allow you to get so much more done. Now, Willy T going for medics. Look at the upgrades, still nearly done. We'll have goon range soon, and I don't think these gateway units will actually benefit much from running away from a single firebat. That's quite funny. And now the firebat thinks, well, let's not do that. Let's not get into that too deeply, and runs back home. So Willy T making units and siege tanks, and I think that Flash will be wise to try something before the siege tank's really done. Now we've got siege mode and all, and this is going to be quite painful, because as the gateway army cannot break through the Stidden bio, well, the tanks in the rear will dish out the damage from a long range. Now they will be laying siege to the natural, and you can see the first few units of Terran are going to be engaged and killed. Oh, and yeah, that's one way to let your advance guard get cut up, and then okay, could be better, but I think there is still enough of a buffer to allow these siege tanks to do their deadly do and kill all the goons. Meanwhile, third base for Willy T. Macro is quite alright, but now the entire army is moving back, save these 2 siege tanks, for reasons best known to Willy T itself. And of course it's very hard to decide when you are ahead and when you are... Oh, that's the +1 weapons for Terran. Now more tanks are coming up. And leapfrogging towards the enemy. Marines will be killed, the Goliath will be killed, but these tanks are just too much. And the goons don't really dare and attack them. And these tanks, this movement is so beautiful. Always the hind couple of tanks will unsiege and then move up to the enemy and take the front position. That is a... well, that's beauty in its own right there. And Willy T is going to roll over the natural and has got the enemy contained, because on Jade you have got this low ground which is, well, basically rewarding the attacking player. Then again, I believe that Jade was discontinued in use in pro play because it really advantaged the Terrans with their siege tank a little bit too much. And you can see the victory for Willy T right here. Congratulations, Willy T. Okay, well, I think about this time I should show you the ranking by ELO points. It's SSCAIT at 26, 24, then 50 points behind that, the Cuters of 40, and then a drop of 60 Purple Wave, and then another 100 for Crazier Protoss. So it's still top 3, unimpeached, and then it's the rest of the pack. Microwave doing good, Steamhammer doing good, Ironbot being up there, that's very impressive. Proxy doing quite well as well, Banana Brain, McRave, and Killerbot still hanging in there, with the last update being, well, some time ago. So, yes, that's very impressive. I shouldn't waste too much time on this bot. This was... what is this? Flash versus thing. Okay, so, I thought, well, let's see how good Purple Wave is compared to Killerbot by Marion Defecker. And Marion Defecker, a regular guest on Sonko's broadcast of The Undermined. And as I told you before, Sonko will be joining me in the casting crew of the Student StarCraft AI tournament. It's going to alternate for the first couple of weeks until we get on our stride and decide what we really want to do, because, as I said, I've been rambling along for so many broadcasts, and I really liked all the guests that Sonko is having over on his Undermined podcasts, that, well, we decided to invite him to join us, and he gracefully accepted. So, Sonko, thank you very much for that. We'll be watching the next O, and the scouting drone is going to be killed. Now, nice setup by Purple Wave. First Zerg is coming in, killing some workers, and then all dying because they couldn't really make up their mind if they were going to kill workers. Oh, hello. Kill workers or that zealot. And you can see that Killerbot has got 17 workers. So Killerbot believes in ruthless macro, hence its name. It can also do gruesome killing, and also likes to have a fair number of hatches, so it can make a lot of workers and a lot of fighting units at the same time. That said, its current army value is about 2, and I think that's not enough. So let's see what kind of a build we'll get out of it. I think we have got... that's Hydroden in a nice position, so that would normally not be scouted by Purple Wave. And you can see that there is some good thinking going on the side of Killerbot. Killerbot, or at least Marion, is, or used to be, a rather accomplished brute war player himself. And that is always a benefit while coding AI. Now it's 18 versus 4 army supply, and Killer is going to, although it's got a sunken, it's going to lose horribly. And it's rather late with producing armies, so you can see you've got 30 workers but only 20 bollocks. That's 2.5 army supply, and that is going to be rather costly. Now throwing up Sunkens over here, I don't think that's the best decision. You need units to help and sucker this base over here, while Purple Wave has got this balanced thing of army and units well under control. Killerbot was waiting a little bit too long, and now has got the added injury that there are Corsairs out there, and they are killing a lot of Overlords, making sure that Purple Wave is having free access. Oh, and this Dark Templar could just stroll in there and kill all the workers. Instead, it's going for the Sunkens. That's a wise choice as well. Oh, and the Storms completely missed, but still, what can you do? And now there is no Dark Templar to contest this base, but as you can see, the main's overrun, the natural is gone. Purple Wave has started the 4th base, Mineral only is operational already, some defensive cannons. Purple Wave being the much completer player, and I really would like to have seen Killerbot making a little bit more army earlier on, because it's still got a nice economy, but it's just a 1 base versus, and a geyser versus the map. And if the map is possessed by Purple Wave, I don't think you're going to enjoy playing that game for very long. You can see the worker transfer very well defended over here. And now Purple Wave is first mopping up at the natural and not the main. And has got some issues with all these Sunkens. And I think as a Zerg player, if you've got one or two Lurkers and a couple of Sunkens, oh, and now Purple Wave is going for it, but losing considerable amount of units. So if you've got a Spore, a couple of Sunkens, a couple of Lurkers, and some Zerglings, some Hydras to help him dance along, that's going to be quite a formidable defense and very hard for an AI to calculate how to break. That said though, Purple Wave is rolling and has got a production tab. It's 10 times as long as that of Kilobots. And now these zealots being very meticulous, and this base overrun as well. It's congratulations to Purple Wave and Kilobot. Well, almost. So next game up, what will we have? I think we'll do this one. It's SSCAIT versus Microwave, the number 1 versus the number 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's 250 ELO points difference. But Microwave has been working, so might have a build that will snipe SSCAIT. You'll never know. So again, Jade with the high ground outside of the map and low ground or normal ground inside of your own base, and that will of course benefit anyone with siege tanks. And of course there is only one player, that is SSCAIT in this game, which will have access to siege tanks. And oh, a run by, that's going to be very ugly. The workers do what they can, but oh, that was pretty ugly. And I didn't really count how many workers got lost. We've got a Sunken over here, and I think that's nice, but you might just build an Evo chamber or another building over here or over there to just, no, rather over here, so Vultures would have to go the long way round to make a bit of a SimCity and make access to the drones just a little bit harder. SSCAIT though doesn't care, has got double the number of workers and is brimming with minerals and gas and is going to make a lot of units. Microwave is going, oh, it's going for the Hydra thing again, and here comes the Hydra thing, and it's now 19. Oh dear, you can see this siege tank is, oh god, this is never going to be broken by Hydras, or you need 500 of them. I would like to see that though. But SSCAIT has got a very good position, and Microwave just took a couple of shots for no good reason, and I think that SSCAIT can take this third base as well. These tanks are just too powerful, and immediately, oh, the +1's done already. +1 armor coming up, and that's just these little things which, not little things, pretty big things. And now it would be a good time to take more bases and build Zerglings, but Microwave is not really doing that. Going for a hive, a lair, and more Hydras, and you can sort of see that you need to have a rule somewhere that says if enemies got a ridiculous number of siege tanks, don't build all that many Hydras because it's not going to work. And you can see SSCAIT just playing meticulously of 3 bases with a science vessel overhead. Will we have Irradiate too? Yes, we will. And that is what makes SSCAIT such a monster. It just took the gameplay of Crazio, of Ironbot, or mostly Crazio, because SSCAIT is not very harassy, but it's just defensively so well positioned, and its push is the deadliest of all, and it doesn't really care how many Mutas or Sunkens you have got. And look at this movement, it's one line of Goliaths and then the siege tanks, and the damage output is just enormous. And then the entire map is covered in purple, and at the 50-minute mark SSCAIT is maxed, has got a bank, and has got a 120 supply army rolling over to you. And well, you need to play pretty well to prevent that or stop that. So congratulations to SSCAIT. And Microwave, well, not back to the drawing board, but perhaps not go so Hydra heavy versus a lot of siege tanks. Now, next game up is Proxy versus Pan, and when I looked at the ranking, I was really surprised to see Proxy doing so well. Ironbot doing okay, and Pan, where's Pan? Halpan is struggling a little bit. Not doing as well as Iron, so yes, it's rather hard to try and do that, really. So yes, let's see how this will turn out. Proxy can also play a very deadly macro game. It's not the most refined Zerg out there, but if you let it alone for too long, it's going to be quite ugly. And what the hell are these Zerglings doing? I don't know. Oh, checking for any hidden things in main base. That's pretty cute. Halpan, though, is pretty safe if it had a combat unit to help fight off the Zerglings. And the Zerglings could just gnaw on this depot, or that one, or both of them. Oh, and now a Vulture on the high ground. That's pretty pro. And Proxy can't get through. Natural has been started, though. Work account for Proxy for a Zerg on one base. Pretty good, actually. And that's a very quick Spire, too. And it's a pity that this scouting thing saw every second of that Spire's construction. Oh, and Halpan going for the dual StarGate build, and the first Wraith is out here already while the Mutas are in here and completely... Oh, now they found this Wraith to play with. They will kill it, but this Wraith still is over here doing a lot of damage, and the Muta is not going to engage it. And at this point, oh dear, that's going to be complete rubbish, because Proxy will be supply blocked. And yeah, congratulations with that. I think that Halpan has got the economy to outdo a... how many are there? Oh, that's 9 Mutas already, so that's quite a lot of Mutas. And if this Wraith would have been dead, that would have been even better, but Proxy is now building Overlords for all it's worth. With all the money it's got, could build another hatch somewhere, just another safe spot. And these Mutas, they are 9, the full pack, but they are sitting on their tails, or I don't know what they're sitting on, but they are not doing anything at all. Well, this Wraith is completely killing the main base. And that's rubbish. Oh god. Lots of workers being killed. And the Muta pack is over there again. Now it's 14 Mutas. And I don't know why they're killing so many. Oh, and now the Wraiths have got a cloak as well. Should kill the turrets. Then they'd have free reign. 50 Mutas now. But again, they are not really as effective as could be. And this is just complete rubbish. Proxy neglecting its main base so much that it's going to be completely killed by 2 Wraiths. And if the Wraiths were ever to find this base, there is no... Oh, there is drone production going on, that's good. But the Mutas are completely balked. And Halpan has got ages and ages to get something done, only on one base. But now the ground units will move over, and I think that will be the end of Proxy. It's got one sunken, which is pretty good. But the main base has been taken apart by 3 Wraiths, and Proxy even insists upon sending drones to help and die. While the Mutas, okay, so... yes, Halpan can beat this. Proxy is just giving him too many chances. Oh, and I completely missed something there. It looks like Proxy killed all the Wraiths. There will probably be more. And now Proxy is restarting from this base over here. Still has got 11 Mutas, which still are not doing anything. And that's rubbish. Killing the expeditionary force of... oh, 1 drone's getting out, that's pretty good. But there is a mine over there, and that's not going to work. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The Goliaths, they can kill so many units. Halpan not making a natural command center. The Muta threat is gone, so that's okay. Will the main be retaken? No, it won't. All the bases have been mined up. And the Mutas are doing a lot of damage, but there are only 4 of them. That's not the most. Still, it's a major pest for, and look at how expertly they evade the turrets. It's costing a lot of effort from Halpan to clean it up, and Proxy is just sending out more and more drones. Could build one right over here. After all, that was your main a little while ago. And you are going to need one time or another to... Yes, that is... Oh god, another Wraith. I can't believe this. So Proxy is being defeated by one Wraith, and along this... Oh, and another base. An entire base cleaned up by one bloody Wraith. That is such a lot of nonsense. Oh, 2 Wraiths now. Okay, sorry for speeding it up just this much, because it's just 4 mutas and no buildings at all anymore. Okay, GG, probably. And still no natural for... Okay, well this was pretty close actually. The mutas were still in there and doing a lot of damage. This defensive setup though, they would not have been able to break. So last game of today and last game from me for a while, as next week Sonko is going to start casting as well. We'll be alternating every other week. It will be me and then it will be Sean. And of course Sean's beautiful vodcast, The Undermine, is very interesting because it has so many guests which can say insightful things about the game and the coding, which I cannot. So Sean, again, welcome. And I keep repeating this because you never know who's going to tune in, tune out during the broadcast, and I like to make damn sure that everyone knows you are coming, so they won't miss you next week. And for the last game I thought, well, perhaps take Lecutus versus Seda, as that are the number 1 and 2 bots. Let's see how they are going to play along. We've got the obligatory victory Proxy by Lecutus, and Seda is going for submarines, might do with a bunker. And I really think that if Seda got a couple of upgrades just to get this kind of cheese out of the way, it might really work. And this is, it looks like another DT kind of thing. And as a Terran you've got so much time to prepare versus a DT kind of a thing. You've got this bunker and you just need some kind of detection, 2 gates, and now the Templar Archives is coming along, and I can really hope for the Seda team to get back and to help stop this kind of abusive nonsense. Or at least it's not nonsense, but it's just very, very greedy to play against Protoss not scouting. Oh, hello. That's unfortunate. And that's a thingy. No! Oh, finally the goons start doing something, but the DTs are completely catatonic. And there are... what the hell? Okay, so Lecutus made life a little bit harder for itself by just not using its first 2 Dark Templar, and now you've got the enemy, the best Terran of the world, with 2 bases versus your 1. The army supply is in favor of Seda as well. There are tanks, a turret with a bunker in front of it, and Seda is not going to make very many units. It's just going for a very infrastructure heavy kind of an opening, and still there is a lot of pressure on, because, well, you could bust the bunker, kill 2 tanks and there would be nothing there. There is a 4th tank though, and a couple of vultures coming up as well. Upgrade wise, siege mode, and that's about it for Terran. Lots and lots of workers, so I'd say Terran's pretty safe. And right now you could try and recuperate a little bit by building a nexus, but that's not happening. And this is going to, well, you could take these 2 apart. Might put a little bit of pressure on the Terran, but instead this army is just wavering, moving in and out, shaking it all about. Seda is not giving a damn, making units. And you can see the problem coming up for Lecutus, which failed miserably with the 2 Dark Templars standing still while the enemy had no detection. And now is now the time? I don't know. There is a drop coming up. Oh, natural being started, but... oh, hello. That was completely bypassing the entire army and killing so many workers. There were 25, now 16, 15. Even killing a zealot. And they should not be killing zealots, because the zealots are not interesting. You should kill the workers, but now it's 50 versus 14 workers, and
the death train is on the march. So if you are going to DT rush, say that you'd better DT rush it and not use your DTs. And yes, that's about it. So that will pretty much wrap up this week's broadcast, as I don't see the cue to stopping this wall of blue death. Next week, as I've said before, Sonko of the Undermine podcast will join us and with some guests make a beautiful cast for us next week. So I'll say goodbye, see you or talk to you in 2 weeks time, I believe. Next week, Sonko, welcome, have a lot of fun and bring a lot of insight to the world of brutal AI, which I fear I have been unable to provide. But then again, GG, SSCAIT, still the #1. All your coders out there, please work hard. Don't enjoy the nice weather, which it is on the northern hemisphere. If you're on the southern hemisphere, and it must be getting autumny, and get to coding, and there is no beautiful weather out there. For now, thank you for watching. Hope to see you again next week, and goodbye.